Welcome to our 91-day Business Spotlight Live. My name is Jonathan. I'm your host today, and we are blessed to have the opportunity to talk to Joe Dominick today. Joe and I met about a year or so ago. I don't know. And as you know, on this process of our Business Spotlight Live, sometimes it's people I know. Sometimes, as it was earlier this morning, it's somebody from Australia who I've never met before. But Joe had the opportunity to meet, and he's going to share with us some things about his businesses today. So, Joe, if you would, do a little introduction. Tell us about yourself. Tell us, who you serve and how you make their lives better, if you would.
Yeah. Again, my name is Joe Dominick, and my company is Gauge Digital Media. We're a digital marketing agency, and we serve clients in the home services niche. So, plumbers, roofers, painters, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me, how did you get into that niche? I know we talked to a lot of agencies
Yeah.
and, different niches and different things like that. What caused you to get into with Gauge into that home services niche as opposed to any other niche?
Yeah. So, we actually, when we started, and we've been around for a little while now. So I've been in digital marketing longer than that, but the agency, we started in 2013, and we were in automotive. And it wasn't, we were in there for a couple of years, and it wasn't a niche I really, particularly loved. So I decided to make it a general agency. We served everybody. Now, you and I both know the best way to grow an agency is to niche down. I didn't know that at the time, but it was a lot of fun, and I got to learn a lot about a lot of different industries. Which, as as you scale, that's part of the problem. You have to learn a
Hmm.
lot about different industries. But at the time, I'm glad I did it. It was fun. We served a lot of clients that were all local at that point for the most part. And one day, when we realized we wanted to scale past a certain point, we knew we had to niche down, and we wanted to make sure we were going to be experts in not just digital marketing, but in the industries that we served. So we wanted to make a decision, and we looked at who our best clients were, our favorite clients, our clients that we got the best results for, the ones that were with us for years and years, several years, and almost all of those fell into two niches, and that was home services and attorneys. And we just had to make a decision, and we chose home services.
Awesome. Well, I think it's a great niche to be in, and certainly one that you can serve well. I know you and I have a similar background in that respect, having done a generalist agency. You're right; it was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed it, and much like you, it was more local based. But it sounds like similar, Joe. We had that realization after a few years that in order to scale, in order to really serve our clients best and be able to expand, we were never going to be able to do that unless we picked a specialty and became experts in that niche. And it sounds like you guys went through a very similar
Sir.
process that we did.
Yes, sir.
Makes a lot of sense. It's interesting, along the way, one of the things that surprised me, I hadn't expected in niching down or niching down, however you say that. I'm still not sure after all these
Same.
years.
I'm with you. I go back and forth.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But obviously it provided value to the clients because we understood their niche and we understood what they did. And probably more importantly, from a digital marketing perspective, we were able to understand what worked and what didn't work. The thing that was surprising to me, I'd love your feedback on this, is we noticed it really had a huge positive benefit on our team as well, because it allowed them to go deeper into those topics and not have to go, okay, I'm dealing with a chiropractor here, I'm dealing with a home service company here, I'm dealing with an attorney here. And so they have a lot more confidence now because they're working on, I don't want to say identical, but similar campaigns for the same industry. They understand the industry, they understand the audience. Did you notice any of that? And can you share any insights you may have about the benefits it brought to your team?
100%. And we used to joke about it. It was funny because we'd get these questions from our team when we were a general agency that would kind of make us laugh a little bit. Like someone would randomly ask about something about a catalytic converter, and we're like, why are they asking that? And it was because you didn't have that deep knowledge in any one industry. And when we made that switch, and a little before we made this, well, one of the reasons we switched is because we were starting to really get that expertise in the home
Hmm.
service niche. And there are differences between the different home services, but obviously they're way more like each other than they are other industries. And absolutely, it gives you the confidence. We all know that every industry and then every niche within any industry is going to have its own like language, right? So whether it's you're talking about different software platforms, CRMs, the unique problems that they have, and when you can speak to those, it does. You can answer every question a client asks at a point. And at a point, the industry as well as they do. You've been in it for so long, or maybe not quite, maybe not the nitty gritty, but when it comes to the high level, you do. And when you can have the confidence of being able to sit down with someone that's been in the industry for years, working in it, and not have to question what a term means or need to ask too many questions to understand their problems. You already have a general understanding of it. It's very helpful. It gives you, the confidence level. You're right. That's enormous. And one of the things about that, it's not just when you're on those calls, but we've all had calls with a client, and maybe they have an issue that we don't know how to solve or something like that. We're still working on it, and we had team members that would get like anxiety before meetings, and a lot of that tears.
Yes.
Right? So it's a much more a peaceful way of doing business.
No, I agree. And it was, like I said, for me, it was one of the things that surprised me. It's not something I had anticipated or really even heard about, but we've really noticed our team likes it a lot more. Well,
Absolutely.
Joe, I don't know about you, Joe, but my crystal ball tends to be cracked and cloudy. But I'd love to know, as we're recording this and going live towards the end of January 2024, what do you see in 2024 of things that particularly home service contractors should be paying attention to as it relates to their digital marketing? Are there anything new or different, or just is there a focus area that you think they should be focused on as they look forward into 2024 and how to make it the best year possible?
Well, and I'm not just saying this because of you, Jonathan, but you're going to love the answer. And I think AI is a big thing that they need to look into, whether they're implementing it themselves or through an agency or through another company. I think AI, it's gonna, I think people had a lot of preconceived notions about what it's gonna do. And I think every day I'm surprised a little bit about how someone else is using it or something I haven't thought of. There are different ways to use it. And I think people are, in some ways, are afraid it's going to replace certain things. And we all know that it's going to. But I also think it's going to help a lot of people just do a better job whatever they're doing, and that can be anything from client communication to building out content to just brainstorming. Sometimes I make a joke that there are days where I talk to OpenAI more than I do any one particular person, right? Because
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
and it's you can just I just think that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, look, it's digital marketing, right? Everything changes every year to some extent, and you and I, we keep an eye on it all the time. But speaking to home services clients, and there's a lot of things going on, but it's not just the digital marketing, right? A lot of their CRM companies, different companies that serve them, different platforms. Whether you're talking about something like Jobber or Service Titan, they're all going to be implementing AI. So it's something that everyone should keep an eye on, at least from a high level, and at whatever level they're comfortable with. But it is, that's the big game changer right now.
No, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Of course, as you know, I'm a nut when it comes to AI. I think it's great, and I do think that so many people shortchange it and don't give it enough. It's like, well, it may help me write social media posts. Well, it can do that, but it can do so much more. Like you, I love to brainstorm with it. I'm just launching a brand new course, for example, and in that layout and trying to put it all together. I didn't have AI write the course for me, but I did have it help me put the outline together, and I had it do what have I missed? Here's what I'm thinking. And it was very a collaborative process, so to speak. Although it was me, myself, and my AI, it still really helped me shorten that process. And I think that's a lot of businesses can use it for things like that and make things more effective. I think the other thing I love is I love doing it for SOPs. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's a great way for any business to create SOPs in. So just my 2 cents.
It really is, and I'll probably pick your brain on that a little bit. I consume a lot of your content on social with AI, and I will say that there's you're one of like 2 channels that I really follow with AI.
Well, thank you.
Content, and I appreciate it. And I think you brought up a good point, right? A lot of people maybe they try it, or they use it a few times and they don't get a good result, right? The answer they get isn't what they get. I didn't come on here to give you a shout out. I want to be clear. Jonathan didn't ask me to, but it's really important that you learn how to use it. It's not something that you just spit a sentence into and you get a wonderful answer back. We both know, you and I know, and I think a lot of people are realizing, but maybe they're not. I'm going to say this for the people that aren't, that the output is only as good as the input, and learning how to write your own prompts, or even just do research to find prompts and they're all out there for the most part. You can find them on your own or make them on your own, but the prompt and what you're asking it has to be concise, and it's a skill that you're going to learn over time, and you get better at putting input into the AI and getting it out. And I think that's the lesson we all learn first, right? Because I don't think anybody, the first time they open, whether it's ChatGPT or anything else, puts in a really good prompt the first time, right? We all have a very basic question, or put in a one sentence command or whatever you want to call it, and we got something out that was mediocre at best, right? And then you just realize the real power of it once you get. I don't even want to say I'm good at it yet, right? I don't know if anyone's really good at it yet. It hasn't been out long enough for any of us to be like true experts. I think is in, other than the people that are building it, you're probably the closest thing that comes to the expert in a budding industry, and it's really important to understand it because it's so powerful, and you don't get to unleash any of that power until you really understand how to write and input prompts.
Well, I thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. But I agree. I think prompting is just so important when it comes to that, and understanding, understanding the basics is certainly key as we do that. So as you are reaching out and working with home service companies, if somebody's listening and they want to say, hey, maybe I don't know what to expect. I'm either not happy with my marketing company, I need a marketing company. Tell Joe a little bit, what could a home services company expect if they reached out to you at Gage there? What could they expect that experience to look like, at least the first step or two, to give them an idea of what they might expect if they were to reach out?
Yeah, so if someone reaches out to us, the first thing that we do is we schedule a discovery call with them, and I think that's pretty standard in the industry for the most part. But maybe not, because I think a lot of people jump right to the pitch, right? They want to sell their services. For us, it's about finding that good fit. We don't want a client for 6 months or a year or 2 years. We want a client for 5 years, a decade, and the way you go about that, the way you have a good partnership, is you find out if you're a good fit. And the discovery call is where that is. We find out if things are in the right place for us to work together, in terms of size, what their goals are. Every now and then someone reaches out and they don't really want to grow. And we're a marketing company. That's what we do. We help you grow. And I mean, if you're big enough, sometimes it takes a lot of marketing to maintain. But there are things like that. And we always make sure that we want to align our expertise with their goals. If our expertise doesn't meet their goals, and you and I being in, the best mastermind group I've ever been a part of, with 7FA,
undoubtedly,
it's fantastic. The great thing about that is I don't have to make it work for a customer if we're not the right fit, because there's usually someone in the group that is. And I'm happy to refer someone to someone else if they're the better fit. So that first meeting, we go over goals, we go over what they've done up until this point. We see if we are the logical next step, and then we come up with a plan on how to get them from where they are today, A, to the B, which is their goal at the end of the year, over the next 12 months, and that's the way we go about it, and then. We customize our plans for that client, and we're a full service digital marketing agency. There's a couple of channels we don't really touch on because they're not that great for home services.
Sure.
But our programs include really everything that a home service company should be doing on the digital side of things.
Awesome. Well, and if they're listening and they're wondering, what's the best way for them to reach out and connect with you, Joe?
Well, you can go to gagedigitalmedia.com and reach out. We have our Facebook page, our Instagram. If you search Gage Digital Media, you'll find us anywhere. But you can always reach me on my email, joe@gagedigitalmedia.com, or call us at 410-376-7709. So pick one, whatever your preferred form of communication is. Or you can come to Westminster, Maryland, and show up at our office. But I don't always recommend that.
Understood. Well, I appreciate that. And as Joe mentioned, Joe and I are part of an amazing agency group called Seven Figure Agency. And one of the things that brought that you mentioned, I just want to touch on real quick is there's 300 plus agencies in that. Every single one of them is amazing at what they do, or they don't stick around very long. And one of the things I think it's brought to us as an agency that's been so helpful is that when a client comes that may not be a good fit, like you said, we now know somebody. We know somebody that's trusted, or probably 3 or 4 somebodies that are in that and specialize in that. And I think that's another value in reaching out to someone like Joe, is having that opportunity to know that if you're not a good fit, he'll be the first to tell you, and then have some recommendations for you as well. It's really about you succeeding in the long run.
Yeah,
Well,
John,
Joe, I want to thank. Go
especially
ahead.
being general, generalist before general agencies, it's even more important because you and I both know I'm sure you've had this where you have an old client that reaches back out, or maybe you're still serving them as a legacy client in a capacity that makes sense for everybody, and they have a question or a need that doesn't quite fit your model anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And but look, we had great clients that got us to where we are, and I always want to help them. And we feel
Absolutely.
obligated to do it. And in some ways, we were obligated to help them, but we have a better way to help them now. We can align them with someone that's maybe even better in their niche than we were as a provider. So I just wanted to say that it's important to me that those general agency clients have a good transition if need be, because we wouldn't be the company we are today if we didn't serve them at some point. So I felt like it was important to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't know you were gonna.
Oh, no. In fact, I think that's an important thing to say, because I agree with you entirely. I mean, having been a legacy agency, a generalist, we still have some of those clients, like you said, doing certain things, but sometimes new things come up, and we have long-term relationships with a lot of these clients and have gotten to know them well. And absolutely, we want the best for them. And that's one of the things, again, I love about that, is the ability to go, okay, if I'm not good at this, or maybe this isn't really in our wheelhouse, what our team loves, I now know of an incredible group that I can find somebody, or if there's not one in the group, they're absolutely going to know someone that can help out with that. And it allows us to be a good resource and connect our clients with people that can help them do what they need. So I think that was a really good ad. I'm glad you shared that. So no. Well, and again, I do want to thank you for your time. I know you're slammed busy, and I really appreciate you joining us here today. I appreciate you if you've been watching with us live, or if you're catching the replay. We so value you guys. If you remember, we're doing 130 plus of these entrepreneurial interviews over the next 91 days. We're about on day 10. We're almost booked halfway through already, or at least half the sessions are booked. So if you're interested in being spotlighted like Joe is here, make a comment down below, reach out, we'll get you connected, and we'll get you booked up as well. Joe, thanks again. Make it a great day, everybody, and we'll see you on the other side.